Dan, the Powerwall 3 has launched. How exciting is this in the world of battery storage? Just give us a little bit of an indication.
The Powerwall 3 is really exciting in that in one product, it combines a lot of flexibility for different scenarios. So you can AC couple it, which essentially means we can install it if you've got existing solar PV. And if you don't already have solar and you're looking at getting solar with a battery, we can DC couple it.
Could you just explain a little bit about what AC and DC coupling means?
Sure. So AC coupled batteries are essentially designed to be retrofitted to existing solar. So if you've already got a solar system and you're looking at getting a battery to maximize your self-consumption throughout the day. So for example, you have solar PV already, you both are working throughout the day, so a lot of that solar ordinarily gets exported to the grid. If you're looking for a battery to store some of that to use in the evening when you're at home, that is AC coupling. It's essentially coupling up a battery to an existing solar PV system.
Right. How about DC?
DC is where it gets interesting, and this is the big change of the Powerwall 3. So the Powerwall 3 has an inbuilt solar inverter. So if you're looking to install solar PV and a battery, this is where the Powerwall 3 comes into its own. So essentially, the Powerwall 3 will be the inverter for the solar and the battery, which means that you will save cost on buying a standalone inverter. You'll have fewer boxes on the wall, less wiring. With it being DC coupled, you'll get a higher efficiency for the battery. All the equipment installed will fall under one ecosystem. So all the monitoring will be on one platform.
Wow, so that will simplify things quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. And this is why I think it's such a disruptive product. Essentially, you've always had a split, I guess, between, until recently with the hybrids coming in, but between batteries and inverters. And Powerwall 3 combines this all into one neat solution, which on top of that is already a market-leading battery. Now you've got an inbuilt solar inverter, which is huge.
And are there some other things that people should be looking out for when it comes to Powerwall 3?
So one of the big features to understand with Powerwall 3 is that the discharge rate of the Powerwall 2 was always limited to 5 kilowatts. The Powerwall 3 has the same storage capacity as the Powerwall 2, but they've increased that discharge rate from 5 to 11.04 kilowatts. So in terms of discharging to your house, you can now comfortably basically know that the Powerwall can meet your household loads, assuming you don't go over that.
Wow. So, I mean, that actually sounds, not having a battery myself, but that actually sounds like a lot. Is it?
Yeah, it's huge. So essentially, with the Powerwall 2, for example, if, like I said, the discharge rate to the house was always limited to 5 kilowatts, if during the evening, I don't know, you put on the oven, the kettle, and someone was taking a shower, for example, the Powerwall 2 would kick out at its maximum 5 kilowatts. But because you were over that, you would then be reliant on the grid to basically top up the loads of the house. Whereas now the Powerwall 3 can output 11.04 kilowatts to the house continuously. It can basically meet most loads of UK homes, I would say.
Wow. So that is a big change.
Yeah, huge change. And it's important to note that that would work in backup too. So you're much more flexible if there's a power cut in terms of backup, because you can still discharge that to the house. You just got to be mindful that it's still got 13.5 kilowatt hours of storage. So obviously you don't want to discharge it quickly. But again, it comes back to flexibility. And that's something that the Powerwall 3 offers.
So dare we say power cuts might be a thing of the past if you've got a Powerwall 3?
Potentially. Although hopefully if they don't last longer than an hour, assuming that you're outputting the full capacity. But yeah, really game-changing product.
Amazing. Are there some other features that we should know about?
Yes. One of the things just to add to the DC coupling side of things is what we saw in the past with the Powerwall 2 is that lots of customers got the Powerwall 2 obviously and were really happy with it. When they came to wanting to increase their storage, so get an additional Powerwall 2, one of the things that the customer had to do, or we did on their behalf, was apply for grid permission. With the Powerwall 3, you have the option to DC couple additional storage, or you will do in the very near future, I hope. And what that means is that if you had grid permission accepted for your first Powerwall 3, you can essentially add up to 4 Powerwall 3s, I believe, DC coupled, and you do not need to get grid permission for that, is our current understanding.
Wow, so that is that again another big game changer.
Yes. So in terms of adding additional storage in the DC coupled configuration, you can have up to 4 Powerwall 3s for your household. So you can add an additional 3 to the first one.
So clearly, I mean, there are some new features that make this product a game changer. Are there still features of Powerwall 2 that have been carried through to Powerwall 3 that have worked really well?
Yeah, so it's a really good question. And the Powerwall 3 builds on a lot of the success of the Powerwall 2. So you still have the same Tesla app for monitoring. So that will now include the solar as well, if it's obviously ran through the Powerwall 3. You've got the Stormwatch, which is always really useful in that the Powerwall 3 will automatically charge to full if it forecasts severe weather and a chance of a power cut. So it looks after you in that kind of way. And you've just got essentially all the smart algorithms that Tesla have created that learn how your usage pattern is throughout the day and basically tries to steer the battery to meet that in the most efficient way possible. It builds on a lot of the success of the Powerwall 2. And one of these is the time-based control, which essentially helps the Powerwall discharge to meet the loads of the house in the smarter way possible. And this is all built off the innovative energy tariffs that have been released now that have different import and export windows throughout the day. So the time-based control, essentially, it looks to optimize the stored energy within the Powerwall 3 to increase savings using these time of use rates. So it'll essentially buy energy when the prices are lower, but when the prices are high, it'll look to prioritize discharging the solar energy that's in the battery to meet the household loads.
So are these the tariffs like Octopus Flux and things like that?
Yeah, it's exactly that. So it's the two smart tariffs that come to mind are Octopus Flux and Octopus Agile. So to give an introduction to Octopus Flux very quickly, it's a 3-rate tariff. So you have 3 different windows throughout the day for import and export. You have a really cheap one in the early mornings, which is where we would recommend charging the batteries. Then you have a standard rate throughout most of the day, and then where the peak demand is for the house and also for the grid itself is in the evening when most people come home from work and start switching things on. That is where the import is higher than a standard electricity tariff, but the export is also higher. So here is where a lot of customers would, for example, export their energy, which they've charged up at a lower rate, and then they can export it at a higher rate to get further battery savings that way.
Dan, what's the warranty like as well on the Powerwall 3?
So for the Powerwall 3, the warranty is very similar to the Powerwall 2 in that you're covered for 10 years with unlimited battery cycles, which is really key. And you're covered for 80% energy retention after the 10 years and 100% depth of discharge. An interesting point in terms of warranty is that if you DC couple the Powerwall 3, so the Powerwall 3 is doing the job of both the battery and the solar. It's all within one product, one ecosystem. So you have a single point of repair. From a maintenance perspective, it's really important to note that you have got a single system of essentially everything is running through the Powerwall 3. So that's really good in terms of there's fewer components to go wrong, essentially.
And that's always good. Who doesn't want that?
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. And I mean, in terms of installation, is the Powerwall 3 available to install now?
Yes, the Powerwall 3 is available to order. We're looking to start installing them very soon. If people are interested, obviously please get in touch. And right now we're running a promotional period until the end of August, where we're offering £300 off the price of an installation for the Powerwall 3.